Hi everyone, welcome to the first ever episode of FP&A Spotlight. Today we're going to do a sit down with Ger Dwyer, head of the TIGO organization. FP&A leadership are going to share their advice that they gave themselves going into 2015. And we're going to end with some bloopers from some of my other sit downs with KR staff. To begin, we're going to start with a sit down with Ger Dwyer, where he shares his advice to analysts and FP&A managers today. We're going to go through some Dory questions, and you're going to wrap up with his big three things for 2015. Hope you enjoy. Ger, thanks for sitting down with me today. I really appreciate you fixing up your hair. Looks really nice.
Glad to be here, Ger. Thank you. Yeah, this whole look doesn't just happen. The hair is just part of it, but I think it's worth the effort.
It definitely seems. My wife takes a couple hours to get ready, I can imagine.
Something similar. I've been up since 4.
Oh, that's good. Late start today. Ger, let me start with this. If you were an analyst or a frontline manager like myself today, what advice would you give yourself?
Yeah, the key thing I'd say to all of us in FP&A is to be brave. I think the company's going through a really interesting period of change, and finance has never been more relevant, and FP&A has never been more relevant. And within that, we'll be having some tough conversations with our partners. There's some terrific business opportunities out there for us, but equally, we've got to be brave and make sure we're stewarding the company's resources effectively, and that means putting our weight behind things that have the best prospects of success and holding back on the ones that maybe just don't need to go any further. And that will mean some uncomfortable conversations with our partners at times, but if we can provide the data and bring the objectivity to discussion, hopefully we get a good result from this.
I think it's good advice. Speaking of FP&A, you joined about 9 years ago here at Google. What has changed in FP&A since then?
Yeah, I think the key thing for me is just the level at which we're operating as a function. When I joined in 2006, our main job was just putting basic processes in place for managing I was in sales finance in Dublin. It was quotas, it was reporting, it was commissions, and our primary job really was to keep the door open while the cash just piled in.
Yeah.
And that was terrifically exciting in a lot of ways, but as the business has evolved, we've become so much more sophisticated in ads and all these other product and business areas that we're in. We're asked to pull on the full range of our financial expertise that we bring to the business. And I think that's terrific. We're now really have a table and a voice as key partners, not just a group of people who run processes to help the business operate. Still a bit of that, but I think so much more of our time is going in the higher value work. I think that's been fantastic to see.
That's great. As an Irishman, I've worked for a couple Irishmen in my lifetime. You have a reputation for speaking very slowly. What do you have to say to that? No, I think that's really insightful.
It's profound. Thank you. Yes.
Right now we're going to swap over to our Dory. Travis Knight, I don't know who you are, but you're the only person in FP&A who listened to Kristen Ranke's instructions. So shout out Travis.
Respect, Travis.
From Travis, there are business areas that have significant headcount, more than 1,000 people, and significant spend with no monetization plans and aren't well received in the market. There's a really nice article about help outs this weekend. Is finance pushing to change that?
Yeah, I think we have a really interesting portfolio of products at different stages. And I think finance's job is to challenge these products when needed, but also to support them when appropriate also. So I'll take the example of the cloud platform, which is in one of my own areas of TI. And the reality is that computing is going to the cloud, and the only question is, what role will Google play in this? Will we be a bit player follower, or will be a leader? And the reality is that takes a major investment in terms of both headcount and resources over a number of years. I think finance's job in that regard is to push hard on financials, but also to recognize some of these things just take a little bit of time and work with the engineering and product leadership as they work through to get to the place where we need to be. So I think it varies, and at times we're going to have to be strong and tough and say, hey, we've gone far enough and we need to stop on an area. There's other areas we got to say, hey, this needs to bake a little bit longer, because Rome wasn't built in a day, and I think we just need to work with our product partners on that. So it's a mixture of skills that are needed on that.
Yeah, tough job. You also have a new son this year.
Yes.
And I just wanted to ask, just wanted to check and see, are you going to make sure that his hair is ready, going to dye it when he gets a little older?
Well, Connor will be 100% Irish, and this is one of the exciting things, despite his Egyptian heritage, that he will be eating potatoes. We're feeding him on nothing else but that at the moment. We simulate non-stop rain in the house on a daily basis to make sure he's got that constant damp and wetness in his bones, and we will be looking forward to indoctrinating him following a lifetime of losing sporting teams. So he's going to have the full experience. He's not getting away that lightly.
That's great. He's probably the only Egyptian to ever be named Connor as well.
Fantastic.
Let me end with this, Ger. What are your top 3 things for 2015?
Yeah, the 3 things that I have on my mind. So it's personally really is getting up to speed more on the areas that I support now since I took over the role in September. So within TI and RUS, your own area in POPs and legal, I just don't know a whole lot. So I'm still learning. I've been lucky to inherit a fantastic team there who are just doing a great job and helping me get up to speed. And I need to do more of that over the coming months to really hopefully add the value that I think I can bring there. Secondly is on the technical skills for our whole organization. Everything I've seen in finance is that if we have the data, it frees up our people to do the higher value analysis and work that really is valuable to business partners. So I think there's a lot there we can do on the data infrastructure side across all these areas, including CapEx and cloud, etc., to really bring that to the next level. And the third bit of it is to myself is to relax and enjoy it. I think there's at times where I can get a bit worked up over the whole thing, and to really say we just have so privileged to be here working at this company at this time in the world. So enjoy the ride. That's the last piece.
Oh, that's great. And I, for one, just want to say on record, I've never seen you get worked up, ever. No.
Thanks.
Is it perf time?
It's perfect. It's coming up at again.
That's great.
I like your style.
Thanks, Ger. I really appreciate you sitting down.
Great. Thanks, Ger.
You just watched Sit Down with Ger Dwyer. As a lifelong Sacramento Kings fan, I can definitely empathize with teaching my son to love and support a team that will never win. Next up, KR staff shares their advice they gave themselves heading into 2015.
Hello everyone, I'm Christina Bira and I look after product finance. My one piece of advice for 2015. I like to start the year with a healthy dose of inspiration for myself and those around me. This year, that inspiration comes from Susan Wayne, who said, "Your life is on occasion, rise to it." As the new year starts, it's very easy to be absorbed in the day-to-day busyness and lose this higher level context in the way you choose to spend your time and energy. I'd encourage you to stop and think what inspires you, what moves you, what matters to you, and then go for it.
Hi everyone, my name is Helen Riley and I head up FP&A for marketing globally as well as all of our emerging businesses. And the advice I gave myself at the beginning of 2015 was twofold. First of all, to take more risks professionally. I think sometimes I can play it a little too safe and I really do want to make sure that I take all the risks I can, but equally to make sure when I do screw up, which also happens quite often, that I'm also forgiving. I tend to be very harsh on myself and can sometimes be my own worst critic, and I think it's important that if you want to take risks that you also learn from whatever mistakes you make along the way and don't ever let that hold you back from taking more risks. So that was the advice I gave myself.
Hi, this is John Clark. I look after the corporate FP&A team. The advice I gave myself going into 2015 was, firstly, if I can get through January, I can probably survive the rest of the year. And secondly, we're all busy. We all have a lot to do. We have some challenging goals for this year. The best time to start that difficult project is right now.
So my name is Sanjay. I lead the ads and YouTube finance organizations, our advertising business. And the advice I gave to myself coming into this year was to make sure I was taking risks, make sure I was changing things up. When you get to a size that our company is, you tend to get a lot of organizational inertia, and it's easy to become set in your ways. And sometimes when you want to change things, you can run into a lot of obstacles and need to take a few bullets along the way. But I believe that if you are doing things the same way you were doing them last year, and the processes that you're running and the things that you're thinking about, you're probably not keeping up with the business. So I reconfirmed for myself coming into this year that it was important to make sure that I was pushing the boundaries appropriately and helping our business pivot in ways that sometimes are pretty uncomfortable.
Hi, I'm Danielle Romaine. I lead Google's revenue team. I've been at Google for about 7.5 years now. Let's see, the advice that I gave myself when I started the year was to spend more time outside of my comfort zone. The reason for that is that that's actually a fantastic way to ensure that you keep learning and continue to feel fulfilled as you come into work every day. And so again, my advice is spend more time outside of your comfort zone and put yourself into situations where you're not the expert and don't have all of the answers.
Finally, we're going to end with some outtakes and some other sit-downs with FP&A leadership. Originally, I was supposed to spotlight all members of KR staff, but unfortunately, many of those interviews didn't make it past the 30-second mark, and I think you're going to see why. Also, look for upcoming episodes with a new host that will spotlight FP&A leadership from around the world. Thanks, and have a great day. Helen, thanks for sitting down with me today. One thing I've always wanted to ask you is, you have such an amazing accent. Where are you from originally? I was thinking, is it like Connecticut, like Delaware?
Really? I'm from London.
Christina, thank you for sitting down with me today.
Of course.
I've been here about 9 months now, and I've been wanting to ask you, where are you from originally?
What do you think?
I guess I would say probably Eastern Europe.
Yeah, that's close. That's close. Let's get even closer.
Okay. I knew someone from Poland. Are you?
You're getting there, but not quite.
Okay. What else is around there? Hungary, Romania.
Romania, jackpot! You
That's great. I actually used to date a Romanian girl.
No way!
Yeah, she was pretty mean.
Oh no. Or maybe you were not brave enough?
John, thanks for sitting down with me today. I really appreciate it. I actually don't know if everyone out there knows this, but you and I actually go to the same gym.
We do?
Yeah. I thought I saw you. I thought I saw you like 3 times this week.
I don't think I've seen you at the...
Are you sure? It's just right across the freeway. It's called Krispy Kremes. I saw you were like curling the glaze, just taking bites. It looked pretty good. Thanks for sitting down with me today. I really appreciate it. Let me start off with, what would be the advice you'd give to an up-and-coming soccer player like yourself?
Not a soccer player. I run a sales finance team.
Wait, you're not Belgian soccer player Maroon Fellini? Danielle, thanks for sitting down with me today.
You're welcome.
I was swinging by your area and trying to talk to your team a little bit about what I could ask you. And I want to ask you about something. I found this hat, and inside of it was all these crumpled up pieces of paper. They said Q2 revenue 17.1, Q2 revenue 17.4. It's kind of weird to ask, but are you guys just pulling a revenue forecast out of a hat?
All right, guys, it's time to kick off the Q2 quota process. We all know how this works, so give me your best guesses. Okay, that's 1. All right, we have our Q2 revenue forecast. I think sales is going to beat it this time.